All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakakwadash. Giving double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Shalom to all the brothers out here laboring in this truth with sincerity. Shalom to the few sisters that watch. It's coming back with another lesson. It's the Sabbath, you know. So we're going to get a quick lesson in, because hey man, brothers are suffering, hey man, wickedness is polluting the whole earth, you know, and us being in this truth, man, it just completely vexes our spirit, man. You got Jakes out here scamming, breaking in cars, man, all kind of stuff, man. Somebody broke in my car, man, at camp, as a matter of fact. So, hey man, when Yahweh Shemi Shai start sending out this mass judgment, hey, we're not gonna feel sorry for you Jakes, man. But, in the meantime, man, brothers are suffering, man. But, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai, we shall endure, man. So let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 18. And it says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." So, hey man, Yahweh Shemi Shai pretty much laid it out, through the scriptures of what's to come. Speaking of the kingdom, the glory, man, the beauty of the kingdom, man. Getting rid of these vile bodies that we're in, getting new bodies, having the laws written in our inward parts, man, in our hearts, not going off, not sinning, man, having an abundance of everything, man, things that we really don't know in detail, but, we know what's to come, so, we're going to suffer for a little while, man, and we're taking it cheerfully, even though, it hurts, hey, like I always say, brothers are going through it physically. Some brothers are going through it financially. Some brothers are going through it physically and financially, man. So we got to suffer, man. That's really what we're here for, man, to see if we're going to endure. We hadn't even seen the worst yet. You still got the Jacob's trouble, on the brink. You got the hour of temptation, the chip, MOTB. That's to come. So, the suffering is just beginning, man. Even though we hate it, man. We hate it here. Absolutely hate it here. And we're ready to see the glory, man. We're ready to see Yahweh Shemi Shai in his great glory, man. We're ready to see that. So let's continue on. We'll go to the book of Revelation, chapter 2. And there's nothing really deep about this lesson at all. But, man, hey, brothers are going through it, man. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer." So this is just giving you an indication of what's to come. It says, "The devil shall cast some of you into prison." And notice, not talking about a man under the ground in a red suit with horns and a tail. It's talking about Esau Edom, man, the so-called white man. The devil, Satan, Satan's counterpart, man, the physical counterpart of Satan. Says, "Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." So, some brothers are going to lose their lives in the faith, man. Some brothers are going to lose their families in this faith. Some brothers' family are going to take that chip, And when they do, you're going to be out in the cold, man. You're going to be an outsider. We're already outcast. within our families, wherever we are. We do our best to blend in and go along with things, but ultimately we're gonna be outcasted, from society, and we can see it happening. I think in the UK, they're talking about giving people two years in prison, for preaching. So how far is the U.S. behind? They're right behind. Those laws are gonna be implemented over here. Especially if we keep calling out Esau Edom for his wickedness, man. It's definitely coming because this devil can't take rebuke. This devil don't like to be revealed. They're trying to get rid of the critical race theory, so to speak. Anything that hurts their legacy, they're trying to get rid of. And who hurts their legacy more than the prophets, man? The men out on the highways signing crying. All right, it's the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 4. It says, And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them. It says, and the judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. So this is clearly more indication that we know these scriptures are faithful and true. So some brothers are gonna be beheaded, man. That's just a fact, but we just gotta right now we're rehearsing the righteous acts, conditioning our minds, conditioning our bodies to be able to go through these things, man. Because it's not gonna be easy. Getting to that ultimate championship is not gonna be easy, man. So it says, and for the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. They that lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. And we know this talking about the elect, man. They're not going to take that chip. They're not going to worship the beast. We're going to go against the grain, going to go against what society is doing, all in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And we're going to do this proudly, man. Hey, man, just thinking of the things that, our relatives, our ancestors in the past, man, endured, man. We're going to have that mentality, man. Seeing your family's members put to death, man, and we know it's nothing new under the sun. All the prophets endured, hardship, brutal deaths, for the most part, as well as Jake during slavery, man. So, basically, we it's kind of to say, we kind of built for this, man. The elect is going to be built to endure, just like those slaves that endured those beatings, those lynchings, those hangings, the torture, the rape, to be able to endure those things, man. We're going to have to be in that spirit to be able to make it, and we know ultimately we can't do it without Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But man, that's the spirit we're going to have to be in, man. And we know that Yahweh Shem Yahushua were with the slaves, man, because through them, the elect came. Through the loins of those men, the elect came. So we're going to continue on, we'll get another one. Like I said, this wasn't really a deep lesson, where brothers are really going through it, man. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is cranking up the heat, cranking up the pressure, you got a cruel Lord ruling, cutting jobs, just being a tyrant, So we'll go to the book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 13. It says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yes, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. So you have men that passed away in this truth, and you're gonna have men in the future that passed away in this truth, man. But their works do follow them. They're gonna be the first to receive that. The first to receive those crowns. You know, they're gonna rise first, man. When Yahweh Shem Shai comes back. When our Lord Yahweh Shai comes back, man. So hey, we're not to fear the things to come. Like I say, man, we're taking it cheerfully. Things that happen to us, you got to reflect on, like, man, what did I do to have this happen to me? We had to look at it like that also. So let's see what this says in the NLT. Book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 13. In the NLT, it says, "And I heard a voice from heaven saying, write this down. Blessed are those who die in the Lord from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, they are blessed indeed, for they will rest from their hard work, for their good deeds follow them." And yeah, this work can be taxing, but it's just a part of it, man. A part of conditioning ourselves to be able to endure. And matter of fact, this really light work, and compared to what's to come. So, hey, man, Lord willing, Yahweh Shem Shai, keep the sincere brothers, keep going strong, man. First and foremost, Lord willing, Yahweh Shem Shai, keep me going, because it does get a little hard, man. But we got to understand that championship is right around the corner, man. So with that being said, we want to constantly give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.